Hello and welcome to another season of MCPSS Athletics. My name is Calvin Crist, Athletic Director for the Mobile County Public Schools. In the studio today we have Coach Fred Riley, Athletic Director and Head Football Coach at Davidson High School. But first, let's get to the scoreboard. In football action, Blount scored 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter during a 33-14 victory over Murphy, pushing its record to 3-0. Blount plays Davidson next Friday at Blount in a battle of unbeaten. Baker improved to 3-0 for the first time in 27 years with a 35-20 victory over Pace Academy. Theodore picks up its second victory with a 35-21 victory over Bryant. Davidson stays unbeaten with a 35-14 victory over MGM. Thomasville drops BC Range 34-6. A number 7 ranked Viger Woods defeated Cincinnati 47-0. The Ford stayed to come back in the fourth quarter to defeat Gulf Shores 34-33. Fairhope stopped Satsuma 63-0. Williamson runs its region record to 2-0 with a 28-14 victory over Robertsdale. In volleyball action, Baker won 2 matches in Theodore, topping Bryant and Theodore. Theodore defeated Bryant in 5 sets. Satsuma defeated Alabama School of Math and Science and defeated BC Range in a tri-match. Murphy downed Davidson in 5 sets. Cincinnati defeated Saraland and Viger in a tri-match. On Saturday, Satsuma won the 5-school Baker Invitation. In cross-country action, in the Mobile Challenge of Champions, Baker finished second overall behind a second-place finish from Robert Soto and a third-place finish from Ryan Orchard. And that's it for this week's scoreboard. Welcome back to the studio. Today we have Coach Fred Riley, Athletic Director and Head Football Coach at Davidson High School. Coach, we appreciate you being here today.
Thank you for having us.
First, we want to talk a little bit about the big game Friday night. Blount and Davidson, both unbeaten. You want to talk a little bit about that?
Well, you know, I picked Blount to win the region this year, and I don't back off of that statement. They're the best team that I've seen. I have not seen Daphne, but I would put them right there with them as probably the best or the second best team, you know, in Southwest Alabama right now. They're well coached. They're physical. They're a veteran team with a lot of seniors, a lot of kids back from last year, and you know, we knew all off season if we held up our end of the bargain, this would be a really, really big football game.
I know a couple of years ago when Coach Ziegler come in, he went with his young kids, and it seems like now it's paying off as we go along. It is,
and you know, and he's been there now a while. You know, I think the great fear that we've all had is that at some point in time, Kelvin will make a commitment to running the football, and you know, and they have, and they're excellent at doing that. They control the game, they control the clock, they run downhill, they're physical, you know, and they're a handful.
Coach, tell us a little bit about your season, how it's gone so far.
You know, we're 3-0. You know, we were 1 play better than LaFleur, 1 play better than Viger, and you know, and even with Mary G this past week, I mean, we're in a 7-point game in the fourth quarter. Right. They got it 1st and goal inside the 10, and we make a stop, get a big play, and before you know it, we've separated a little bit. You know, we're extremely young in terms of experience. We start a lot of seniors and juniors, but a lot of these guys are seniors starting for the first time. As that team we graduated last year, those guys had been starters for 2 years pretty much, and you know, we're making young player mistakes, but we're very competitive. Our players like to compete. They play hard. You know, we tend to, you know, compete, pick and choose our times to be competitive. We got to be more competitive every snap, and not just when the game's on the line. And we've got to do a little better there.
Coach, I guess the expectations at your school are always high now since you've had so much success. How do these young kids stepping into the starting lineup, how do they take this? You know,
the biggest thing is we put such great expectations, high expectations on them as players, as coaches. Their Friday night expectations are no higher than what they are every day, and you know, in terms of demands of being on time and being where you're supposed to be and doing what you're supposed to do and having your pants pulled up and your shirt tail tucked in, little things that you know folks might not think that have an impact on how you play on Friday night. But right. if you don't have high expectations all week long, and then you put high expectations on them on game night, you choke. I mean, it's the first time. I mean, you start feeling the pressure. We put that pressure on them all the time, you know. And it's like Coach Bryant said one time, you know, we want to make it so hard during the week that they'll go on and quit during practice because we don't want them to quit during the games.
Right,
and there's a lot of truth to that.
That's true. Coach, you've had a little turnover in your coaching staff for the first time this year. You want to mention that?
You know, of course, Danny Smith went to Baker, and you know, that's where his kids are going to be going to school. And you know, we missed Danny. Danny was, you know, with us for 7 years,
right.
One of the original guys that I hired, and did a tremendous job. But you know, in the meantime, we were grooming PJ Wright to take that position. PJ's now in his 8th year with us. We knew that was a move we were going to make. Danny had applied for a couple of head coaching jobs that we actually thought he might get during the off season. So this was not unexpected. We knew this was the move we were going to make. The key thing was finding the guy, the position coach guy that we needed to hire, and we found Alvin Dempsey. And he's a guy that back when he was next door at Denton, you know, I sort of had circled that, you know, if I ever get a chance to hire
right.
this guy, we're going to get him. And high energy, intense, you know, everything that we were looking for in that position, and he's been a great addition.
And I know Coach Wright is really high energy too, so I've noticed in the past years watching him on the sideline. So I know with those two additions, it's really been great.
It has been beneficial, and you know, you've got to be, especially when the head coach is on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, the defensive guys, they run about 2/3 of the game between
right.
defense and special teams, and they've got to be people that I trust, people that can manage the game, that I'm not going to turn around from, you know, from the offensive position talking and wonder what the heck just happened, or look at something on film and say, what are we doing right here? You know, you've got to be able to be a great amount of trust with that side of the ball from the position that I'm in, and I trust those guys with my job, obviously.
Right. Exactly. Coach, your offense, what are you running this year?
You know, we're still a pistol option, multiple option team. You know, we've been option for 7 years now, 8 years. We've done it out of different formations, from stack eye to Georgia Tech look to Oregon look. We just tweak it each year to fit our personnel. You know, we've got a big fullback that can run the ball between the tackles, and 2 guys that are fast on the edge. So we're option. You know, whether you want to call it pistol or Oregon, or you know, it's you know, up to interpretation. But we're an option football team, and have been now for 8 years.
Okay, now you've got a new kicker also. I know your
right.
big guy's gone on, so you've got a kicker. He's a lot smaller than last year.
Zach's sort of right where Bowen was. Josh was 2 years ago, other than he's 100 pounds lighter than Josh. And Zach has really done well. He's a junior. Going to be an outstanding kicker, made all 5 extra points the other night, and you could see his confidence growing as he gets more and more experience. He's actually got a younger brother who's I think an 8th grader who will be coming to Davidson next year, who we think will be the next kicker. And you know, you'd have never thought Davidson, of all places, would have the All-State kicker.
Right.
We had the All-State kicker
exactly.
last year, and we've had a good run of place kickers. And then Blake Nelson, who was our original kicker back in 04 and 05, he's back helping coach the kickers now, and doing an excellent job.
Okay, Coach, going on to the other side of the ball, what about your defense this year, Coach Wright's defense?
You know, we knew the defense was going to have to carry us early in the year until we grew up on offense some, because that's where our more veteran players are on the defensive side, and they have carried us. I mean, you know, they've played really well. You know, we've cut big plays down to a minimum. We've been physical. We've played hard. We've played fast. We've played a lot of people, and you know, we're very, very proud of that group. You know, up till now. I mean, you're talking about holding nobody scored on us. You know, in the second half yet. I mean, and that says a lot about coaching and adjustments and figuring out, you know, how people are attacking you and how to come back in the second half and defend them. And we've done a great job of that so far, and I think we'll continue to.
Coach, I always said the difference in a good coach and a great was making those adjustments. You know, the next day you may say, well, I should have done that, but it appears at halftime you've got the coaches that are making those adjustments.
They work well together. They plan well together. You know, I had a coach that told me years ago, you know, you cover the what ifs so they don't become if onlys.
Right.
And we do a really good job, I think, as a staff of covering the what ifs during the week. So we're not at halftime, you know, trying to sort stuff out as much as we say, all right, now we've got to go to plan B or plan C, and we had to have those plans built in to where it's not something that the kids haven't
right.
seen, and I think that, again, is a tribute to their organization on that side.
Coach, what about prospects? I know you've got one or two that have committed.
Right.
What does it look like for this year?
You know, we're not a heavy college prospect team. You know, Alphonse Taylor obviously has already committed to Florida State. Chris Casher's a Florida State kid who's ineligible, not going to play this year, working on his academics. You know, Chris Walker, a defensive end, is probably our next best prospect. He hadn't played in 2 weeks because of an injury, and we expect to get him back this week. And the rest of our prospects are really younger kids. Now, Troy Hobbs may become a prospect. He's had a good season so far, picked a pass the other night and ran it back for a touchdown. But, you know, Division I guys, not that many. You know, we'll have some guys end up being 1AA or lower level Division I as it all plays out, but it'll really depend upon what kind of season they have.
Have you got a big senior class this year?
We don't. I mean, we're 21 seniors. We have a really big junior class, and a lot of those guys are playing. You know, we graduated. We had 16 guys start their first game 3 weeks ago. And those 16 guys, and then 40-something guys playing their first high school football games. And actually in the game, you know, not JV, these first 3 games. So we're developing depth and developing experience, and hopefully by the end we'll have a good team.
How have your crowds been this year?
You know, good. LaFleur and Viger always travel well. Mary G brought a good crowd last week. You know, and our first 2 games were on Thursday night, which and one of them, South Alabama, was in we were in conflict with them one night. That hurt us a little bit, but you know, high school football is very healthy. I mean, a lot of people attending.
You've mentioned Blount is one of the top teams. What do you look, and when you're looking at the region, I know it's very competitive. Down the road, what are you looking at some of the teams? You know,
you've historically been Murphy, Blount, Davidson, Theodore, and then everybody else trying to, you know, find a way to become that 4th team. Obviously, Baker has already beaten Theodore and has that tiebreaker edge on them if they can continue on. You know, for a couple of years now, other than Daphne last year, nobody down here has really been head and shoulders above anybody.
Right.
You know, and we've gone to the semis twice, the 3rd round once in the last 3 years, and had to win first round overtime games against local competition to get there, and have never gone undefeated. I mean, you know, it's just tough down here now, and we're all about equal. Nobody's more than a touchdown better than the other one on a given night, and I see it playing out pretty much the same way.
Coach, you want to tell us a little bit about your off-season workout?
You know, off-season, you know, that it's almost a phrase that doesn't exist anymore. I mean, it is in season year-round for football. I mean, we lift 5 days a week in the off-season. You know, we push them. We're demanding. We lift 3 days a week during the season. I mean, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we're in the weight room. Even Thursdays, we do a light lift. I mean, we're very committed to the strength program and conditioning program. I mean, I think one of the best things we do is develop football players and take guys that you know, that start out looking like guys that'll be second teamers their whole life, but by the time they become seniors, have been, you know, turned into football players through the off-season strength and conditioning. Coach Wright has run that for us over the past few years. Jay Pope now is in charge of it, has a passion for that, does a great job with it right now. He's working out our freshman team as we speak, and doing a great job with those guys.
Coach, we got about 30 seconds. You mentioned Coach Dempsey and Coach Wright, your other assistants, real quick here.
Oh, I don't do very good at that. I have to go by position. Offensively, Chris Denning and Joseph Crawford are our offensive line coaches. Jay Pope coaches the running backs. Jeremy Smith coaches the quarterbacks. Chris Azey coaches the wideouts, and I coach them. Defensively, Coach Wright is the safeties coach and the defensive coordinator. Coach Dempsey coaches the inside linebackers. Chad McEwen coaches the outside linebackers. Kenny Daigle coaches the defensive front, and Arthur Ferris works with the secondary, working with the corners, and then Sean Smith and Andrew Jordan are our freshman coaches.
Well, Coach, we want to appreciate you coming by. I know it's a busy week, a big week for you with the game Friday night. It's at Blount, correct?
At Blount, 7 o'clock. Get there early and enjoy their stadium announcer. He's a hoot. Enjoy being there, listening to him.
Looking forward to it. We want you to get out this week and support our local, your local high schools. We've got swimming going on. We've got volleyball, cross country, and also football. Please get out and support them as they're working hard. And Coach Riley, appreciate you coming. And for Calvin, Chris, we want to thank you for watching today and look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you.